Comment on this YouTube channel, Two Clean Johns. Whoever you are, you have been secretly dominating uploading Twitter Spaces. That guy, his subscriber him.
Cop out. Black people don't believe that Michael Jackson died the way they say. There's a bunch of people that we don't believe died the way they say that they died. So it's not a cop out.
I have questions.
Go ahead. Wait, before you go,
Okay.
do you guys want to hear from Grandpa Rick?
No.
She's a Kendrick
Oh,
hater.
well, we're not talking about Kendrick right now, right?
Oh well, she
I
loves
would
Drake.
I
Yeah,
would
she loves.
love to hear from
Yeah, I
Grandpa
mean, we
Rick.
She
did.
loves Drake.
Yeah, I would too. Like, I do think her opinion is going to be pretty good. So
Yeah,
I
you
All
don't
agree
right,
want
but
to
go
have
ahead.
an
What's your
wholeheartedly.
argument.
question, L?
When you guys talk about independent, aren't they still kind of connected to the machine? Like the people aren't really truly independent. They just have like a different deal, correct?
No, we talking about truly independent people, not the people in partnerships that are claiming to be independent.
Got it.
Like label partnerships, I'm saying. You can have your partnerships. Independent is independent. Drake don't need nobody. He don't need nobody. He got a phone. He got a phone and talent. That's it. The end. 400 mil a year.
That's true. I forgot Rick was OVO. I definitely want to hear what you got to say.
So Grandpa Rick.
Hey, y'all. Joe, I feel like you're stepping on the product right now because I wasn't even done with that amazing podcast you guys dropped on the Patreon. I was in the middle of enjoying it and I saw you were on the stage and
You'll get
I
back to it. It's there for you. It is
I
there
know,
for
but I
you
was
to
just
listen at your liberty, girl.
I know, but I was like stopping because I had to react. I had to tell my sister. I had to play some parts. She's very upset for the record. She's a $5 tier person, and she was very triggered. I told her she had to pay that extra $5.
Yeah. Hey, I left it on the 10. I was gonna leave the 10 people out, but I left it there.
Joe,
Yes.
okay, last comment, but I just want to say this. The same way people are saying Drake can't go independent, it's like they want him stuck in the major system, the same way fans want you in a system like Joe Rogan or other podcasts. It's the same thing. It's they want you in a place where they're comfortable seeing you.
Where they understand it.
Who understands it?
The fans or whoever it wants you to stay in that box.
Yeah, but what is that? Why do they want you trapped in a system where we know it's not advantageous to the artist?
Well, everybody don't know that.
We don't know that, and
People don't know
and,
Yeah,
that.
and
this is
and I can tell you that a lot of times, from a fan perspective, and from a creative perspective, we still assume that the major or the institution is more stable and more legitimate. Like I was telling you yesterday, Ian, off air. Like I stayed on TV way longer than I needed to because I still believed that if people saw me on CNN, I would be more legitimate than if they saw me on YouTube. And so, and people will be like, "Yo, why are you not on TV no more? Why are you on YouTube?" And it's the same thing with music and everything else. Is that there are people who be like, "Yo, if Joe Budden were on this podcast network or on this thing that's legible to me, then I know he's good. I know the product is good, and I think he's doing better." A lot of times people really be thinking they rooting for you by keeping you in the matrix instead of pulling you
In the
out.
box. Yo, my God, you are
Right.
killing that point.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that.
100%.
So it is. It's a way to keep you in a box they're comfortable with. But the second you get out of that box and break free of it, it's like now you've downgraded, but your business and your entire infrastructure could have grown 100x, but no one
And
gives a
nobody
shit.
would know that.
no. As the only person who's on this stage who said I don't think he could do independent, I just want to say that was a gross like miscalculation of what my reasoning was. I don't think the same thing for Joe that I think for Drake. I think that Drake has been spoiled and been handheld by the industry. So when a person is spoiled like that, if you just let them go on their own, it could lead to like devastating effects. Like Joe said, it's either in your blood or it's not. And he doesn't give me rebel. He gives me set it up for me and I'm gonna come in and do my thing. So it could be not the best idea for that type of person.
There,
If that's the case, why are they fighting so hard to keep him?
there you go. Good point.
Yeah, because he definitely his rebel isn't, it doesn't scream out loud, but It's definitely there.
I was gonna say, I feel like Drake feels like he's been rebelling. He raps a lot about how he don't talk to the label. I just show up with the music and they pay me. I don't have to deal with them. I'm not folding to him. In his mind, I think this whole time he has been rebelling. Now there's a whole
But the
conversation
label
to
ain't
see.
there to be your friend. They don't care if you never speak to them. As long as you get the hand in that crack, and then we get to bust it down, we ain't got to talk.
I feel like this beef says otherwise. The way that not only the label, but everybody in the industry from media on down has jumped on board to conspire against him, it reeks of hurt feelings. These people are not happy at the way that Drake has been running this shit. And it's mainly because he's not buddy buddy, friendly, and he's fucking y'all wives and girlfriends. Yes, he's doing that as well. So people are just very hurt. It's giving hurt and miserable.
I also have one other thing. I think that what they're really scared of at the label side is Drake is at a place now where if you keep letting him build this repertoire and this catalog, in 2 seconds he becomes more valuable than the entire Universal Music
Absolutely.
infrastructure, and
Yep.
he's going to end up owning everyone else's catalog, putting Lucian out of business, and creating a world of shitstorm for everyone in that building that's
Ian,
lacing their pockets.
Ian, I love that point. My question to you is, if that happens, you don't think nobody would want to put hands and feet or something else in him?
Big facts.
Sure, yeah, I think people would want to, but at a certain
And you
point,
think nobody would do that for close to $1 trillion? No.
no, I think people would want to, but I also think the guy who's worth more than the $1 trillion has more power
He's
than the guy
tangible,
who's
Ian.
scared of losing his job. He's what?
He can be touched. I mean, he's not. It's not like he's. Look at him. You can see that there are things people can do to end him if they want to, and they are showing him, and you can see it.
But they're not ending him. This is a facade. Stop saying that. That is so
They're
offensive
giving
What
to
them
who he
room to
is.
breathe.
have you heard any of that music this summer?
Who
They are
cares
ending
about
him.
that music? I want to tell you guys something. If he never puts out another song ever again in life, his catalog is still bigger than anybody's
Any
that's ever
competition.
existed. Period.
Yep.
Wake
Who
it up.
owns that
Just
Yep.
catalog?
stop. He owns it.
He owns
Yes.
it.
That's the
Stop.
other
And
part
Stop
that we
with.
didn't talk about enough.
Well, no,
Wait, slow
he's trying.
down.
Hold
We
on,
gotta
I
Slow down. I'm
remember
not.
stop.
this.
All right, great. He owns it, right? We still don't know what that means for Universal's participation in that catalog.
Sure.
15 years from what I heard.
What do you
Right.
What
mean by that?
What'd you
What does
say,
that
Ian?
mean?
15
I
years from what
said
I heard. I floated the little idea. Hey, why not just bring him over to Meta and let y'all launch our platform through him? Oh, we tried.
Oh,
We ain't gonna
yes.
pay a
Any of
royalty for
them would
15
give him
years.
$1 billion. He
Yeah,
can't.
easily. You can't
Wait,
walk
Wait, I'm
away
Ian,
with
sorry,
why
all
did
Joe.
they
these.
Can
say
you
that
tell me
they
what you
tried? What
meant
did
by
they
that?
say?
Can we go back? What do you
The,
mean by what does that mean
I'm
for
saying, L,
Universal?
you could own the cupcake. If I got a contract that say I get to eat most of the cupcake every day
in perpetuity.
for the
Exactly.
rest
Until
of
you pay
life,
back that 400 mil.
then it don't matter that you own the cupcake.
That's what I was
But
just about to
Joe,
say.
okay.
hold on. Can I say something? If that was true, there is no reason to keep renegotiating. That's my point. That's not true. He's not stuck in the way you think he's stuck.
Wait,
He's
I'm not
stuck
calling. I'm not calling them stuck. One and two. UMG. We ain't heard a peep about them trying to renegotiate.
because you wouldn't hear about that because it's too big. It's way too, and it has a trickle down effect to every other artist that's trying to renegotiate their deal under Lucian. So you're not going to hear about that because then every little artist is going to think they can get more than they deserve, and it's going to create a headache at the universal infrastructure. Period.
If what you were saying is correct, there would be no renegotiation. They would hand him the extra money he's asking for.
To
That
keep him
depends on
quiet.
It
what.
would just be
That
over.
depends on what they're asking for from the Drake team. There could be things.
Well, we working on rumors right
Of
now.
course, this is speculation, but what I'm saying is it could be bigger than a cash ask. It could be, hey, Lucian, I appreciate everything you're offering me. I'll accept the 600 million in cash. But what you're not giving me that I really want is 20% equity in
Never
UMPG
gonna
and
happen.
UMG.
They
And
killed.
That's what he's asking
Yeah,
for,
never,
though.
I'm just
That's what he
saying
never.
that's what
deserves,
it
to be
could be.
clear.
And it
If
is
he's
what
Now,
he
why
bringing in
would
all
deserves.
the checks the
Universal
way
give
y'all
him
even
that?
admitting he is, what and this is why I feel like this is a culmination of your entire podcast, Joe. From 2018 on up, you've been talking about creators equity, owning your own, and I get that that's part of your resentment for Drake because it does feel like he just took the checks. He didn't try to fight. He didn't try to fight the fight. I get that piece. But I think I would expect a little more empathy from you, Joe, because you know it takes that moment, that wake up. He's having his wake up call moment. It just took him all this time because he was always on top. I
I
don't think
agree.
it's over. I think he can
I
still do the
agree.
wake up. He can still, and then who better than Drake? It would have to be Drake to do it. Who else could do it if not him?
That's right. That's right. It doesn't mean I
But
agree with his music right now. It's just the truth has to be put out there. Otherwise, you're just playing off of speculation the whole time. Like this guy is the one guy who could knock over the building.
But he's
Rick, I'm not all the way against that. I'm not all the way against that at all. Actually, that's a best case scenario. It just don't look like we are near
We
that.
gotta root for it though,
It
Joe.
looks like an emotional reaction compounded by emotional reactions. I read through the thing. It don't sound like you have the it don't sound like you have to take the industry down smoking gun in there. What really would have done it was him taking his value away at the right time and making him crumble.
We can't go back. He
Wait
didn't
a minute.
know.
You
He
don't
didn't
you
know
don't
the
then.
think
He
But
market.
knows
that's why
hold
it
now.
on, wait a
might be
minute.
too late because
Hold on,
you
I
can't do
disagree with
that when
that.
the crown is being actively taken away from you. This is bad timing. You can't do that right now. It's not your place to do that, really, at this point. You should have done
Oh,
that
I
when you were
disagree with
battling
that.
for the.
But she's right. We can't rewind time.
Wait a minute, Joe. You said you didn't see a smoking gun, but in the petition, the smoking gun is not supposed to be in the petition. It's the evidence that he gets if the court grants him that petition that would have the smoking gun in it. So isn't
Even
it? Two,
petitioning for the
it
evidence tells you that he doesn't have it.
He doesn't have it.
well, he
Not
doesn't
long.
He
have to
doesn't
have
have
it
it.
if he knows it exists. That's why you do the petition to get the evidence to use.
Listen, they're gonna make the company pay $10,000 like they do the big companies with a data leak, and they're gonna send them on their merry way. Too much is disrupted. Too much would be disrupted by them even letting Drake find somebody that could spill something
Including
that is.
Spotify and all the podcasts for
Yeah,
the last two
they
years.
they they would come together and jump
Yep.
that boy.
Wait, so y'all think the industry is untouchable then? Y'all feel like it's
That's
no
what I'm
point.
frustrated
It's
about
It's
no
because we've
point
not
in
given them
even
so much
asking.
power.
No,
untouchable.
no, 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 no,
It's
no.
not.
I don't think it's untouchable. I just think you have to play a perfect game, which is why I'm so
Agreed.
mad at him because he was the only one that could have did it.
He
Well,
needs
Joe,
us,
Joe, let me
Joe.
ask you a
If we really
question.
want him to win this fight, it's going to take you using your voice.
Hmm.
Because you just said it was power in words. It's power in
Hmm.
words. So we keep speaking like he lost before he even fought the fight. Then yeah, he might lose. He need us to back him up.
He
And
lost
Joe,
when he
you
fought
got to
Lil
be on his
Lucy
side because
2
this is,
years
like I
ago.
said, this is the
I
end
Well,
don't
state
then
think
of
we
your
maybe
He
want
he
whole
this
already
life
shouldn't have.
lost.
conversation.
podcast.
We don't want this
Maybe
He
he
already
shouldn't
conversation.
have shitted
lost.
on us if he needed us. Then
Right. We don't want this.
Hold on, I
maybe he
No,
have a
didn't play a
question for
perfect
Mark.
game. Then
Mark, I got a question for you. When Mark and I were talking off camera yesterday about CNN and him being a correspondent on there and how it felt to be on TV and what the perception was, my question for Mark is, at a certain point, we all looked at broadcast television like the pinnacle of making it if you're a personality, and you'd be honored to be up there. But as we see, as time goes on, and we see that connecting with your fans directly, building your own infrastructure, your own platforms is becoming more valuable, we're seeing that archaic media, legacy media like CNN, MSNBC, Fox, they're falling off the ranks, losing advertising money, and losing confidence from the viewers. What makes you think Universal and every other major label institution is not losing ground on the independent infrastructures, and they're not desperately clawing at someone like Drake? Because if they lose him, they lose all the consumer and artist confidence in the world moving forward, and eventually they just go down spiraling the drain, losing all their market share to an independent movement.
I think in a lot of ways the is parallel. I just think that I think that potters and YouTube video content makers are ahead of the music industry on this. And not necessarily calmate, papa, momentito. Not because they're necessarily smarter or better, just because of how the infrastructure is. Like TV thought it was going to win forever, and then one day they looked around and was like, "Wait a minute, people aren't watching us anymore. Oh wait, we got rid of Glenn Beck. Oh wait, now he creates the Blaze. Oh wait, we thought we killed Tucker Carlson. He's making more money now than ever before and has more viewers than ever before. Bill O'Reilly, same shit." And I think that with music, there's a lot of the people who have the power, like Joe is saying, the people who have the power to move the thing forward, like the Bill O'Reilly and the Tucker Carlson of music is the Drakes, but they're still trying to stay on the plantation. And if you start, if until they're ready to make the move, it's just going to be a lot harder. And I hear this is still on the tip of like, well, uh, we think he lost before the fight already started. I think what Joe is saying, if I understand him correctly, and if he is, if I do, I agree with him, is that we're in the fourth round of the fight. Drake is just realizing he's in the fight. The time to win the fight was when he was at his peak, when he had the energy and the money and all the things to pull out. It's not impossible to beat the music industry, but you need to play a perfect game. But also, you also need you need mass action and mass organization led by somebody strong like Drake in his prime.
Right.
And I don't know when the next one of them is coming around.
And that's my point, Mark. This to me is no different than the third party fight that we're having with the Democrats right now. As a Green Party member, hopefully you can appreciate this, but that is the equivalent to me of saying the Green Party, they might as well give up. They're never going to defeat the Democrats. They might as well tap out. This is the same fight. We can't just give up because it's not the quote prime time. Yeah, the prime time for the third party to rise would have been 2016 Bernie Sanders. I'm clear on that. But does that mean just because they squashed it and he tapped when he tapped, does that mean third party should give up? Or do we have to just keep fighting on with what we got? And should Bernie, like, this is it's the same argument to me. It's the same one.
Let me ask a question to Mark, Ian, Joe, everybody, all the speakers. What percentage of the internet is comprised of dead or fake users that are bots? He is essentially trying to unveil a Ponzi as we're going into a recession.
20 to 30%.
Like
Yeah.
low end. Low end. Like this is a tricky ass game he's playing at a tricky time. And I'm gonna say this too, because I was there when the puff shit happened. Man, there's certain families we can't go against publicly at being black. That's a declaration of war.
Yeah, like
I
I
just have
think that Puff had a case with them Ciroc
He
niggas. I
He
think
did. He
definitely
just
did.
did it
everything he was
publicly.
saying was true. But
Yes.
pow pow.
right.
Yes.
I just
I
had a
didn't even fucking
question.
know George Clooney owned fucking Casamigos. He definitely had a point.
Talk
Quietly,
about
right?
that. I had a question. Hi, Joe. Hi, everybody on the stage. I just had a question. Are we really about to sit up here and be like Aubrey is the new Martin Luther King? Is that what
Yes,
we
that's
doing?
what they doing. That
Right.
is
What
what
y'all
they
got
doing. I
going
No.
hate
on?
it.
Y'all think he a
I don't
freedom
understand
fighter?
what
What
that.
the fuck
I
we
don't
got going
understand.
on?
I
I don't
hate
understand
it.
what she's saying. What do you
Y'all
mean,
Because
think
Janae?
everybody is positioning him like he's a
he
hero
a
coming to
freedom
save the game, and
fighter?
I
Like
hate it.
what we got going on? He is not. Like, come on, y'all.
It's
Y'all don't think 85% of this is fueled by ego and a sore loser?
absolutely
No.
Joe, wait,
not.
Jonay, we're not talking
Of
about that.
Probably
course.
That's
90%.
not what we're
No,
talking
we
about.
we don't think
Okay.
that, and that's
Yeah.
not
Well,
what this
I do
conversation
think
is.
he has a good legal argument. I just think it's kind
Right.
of snitching in a
Right.
way because he's telling on himself. You utilize this. That's
Right.
how you know that's back there. So to
Exactly.
say, hey, y'all can't use this against me. Y'all supposed to use this for me. He's snitching, but
He's
that's some
I
street
feel like
yeah.
bull.
that's
It's
Wait,
also
it's like it's
speaking
like
this is
what's
him
revisionist. It's
happening.
a bit of
snitching.
revisionist it's a
Yes,
bit of
this is him
revisionist history.
snitching
He
for
wasn't
sure.
benefiting.
We are
He
we
never benefited.
this is so fucked up. Like the
No,
snitching
Ian, let
thing
me
is
tell you
so
why I'm
fucked
calling
up.
it
Oh
snitching.
my
I'm
god.
only calling it snitching because I am of the belief that he utilized all these things. All these things that he's calling cheating now, I believe that Drake utilized all these systems for him to win. So if you utilize,
Absolutely.
hold on, if you utilized all this shit for you to win, and then you say, hold on, wait a minute, you can't use this shit for somebody else to win, that's cheating. Then that's snitching to me. You got in the car, you was with the
I don't
crowd.
even think this is really his point. I think what you're seeing is very topical. It's meant for people who read through the document to jump up and down about, but the real issues that he's digging into are layers and layers and layers so much deeper than what you could read, and I don't think those two things even lead you to
Wait a
Ian,
this.
minute, Ian. That was
but
very
Ian,
vague.
I
Hold
think
on,
that was
hold on,
very
hold on, hold
big,
on. Ian, that
absolutely.
was very vague. And I'm the type of person who reads through all the documents. So you're saying you don't think that UMG had agreements with Spotify to boost Drake's shit?
UMG owns Spotify. Don't you guys understand that?
You don't think that they made these same agreements to boost
With
Drake's
Drake.
shit?
Guys,
But
listen to me. UMG and Spotify are one company, even if they're positioned to look like something different.
Yes.
What no one is refuting that. You're missing the point.
They're
You
What
but
didn't
she's
answer my
they
asking.
choose
question.
they pick and choose who it is gets the
Okay,
spotlight and gets the
right.
attention, which at any
So, but
moment
when
could
it
be
was
any
him,
artist.
why was it not a problem when he was the one they chose?
They didn't
they
choose him. Fans chose him.
What?
Yes,
What?
We
yes,
chose Drake. I
yes.
No,
hate the
we
Y'all
didn't.
revisionist history.
crazy
We
as hell.
absolutely
See,
didn't
this is
know.
Who
cap.
Okay.
listens
This
to?
is
Okay.
cap.
I'm gonna
So
This
so
is
no no
so
cap.
no.
so
I'm
what
gonna say
we're gonna
something.
say
I'm
that.
gonna
So
say
hold on one
something.
second. But Ian, can I throw something out there
Yeah,
while
of
so
course.
you
Go
can
ahead.
answer that while you're speaking? So are we going to, and this is where some of like the conversation gets a bit muddy and it gets we then temper in delusion a little bit. Do we want to believe that there was not a machine behind the skyrocketing success of some of Drake's releases, especially
Yes.
Scorpion? We
That's
don't
what they've
think
been in
that
here trying to
Scorpion,
say.
we do we not remember being on Apple Music and going on Spotify and seeing Drake's face on every playlist you can imagine that had nothing to do with his music, and we're going to say that that was all fan focused and that was not machine driven?
Let let
I think Ian is going back to so far gone.
let me
Okay.
He must be.
let me
Gotta
no
be,
let
because
let
I
me
remember I was outside, Joe.
No,
I was
Ian,
when
please
outside during
answer the
Scorpion.
question. Please
when
answer the
I'm
question,
allowed to
Ian.
respond, I will. Hello? Can I
That
talk?
was fucked up
Go
how you
ahead,
just took
Ian. Go
that
ahead.
pause. Go ahead, Ian.
Yeah,
Come on
listen,
now.
Okay.
we ain't flip. We ain't flip. You can't stun us. Go ahead.
I'm not trying to sun anyone.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Ian.
Okay. Here's my thought. My thought is when Drake became very, very popular and adopted by everyone who loved his music, Apple streaming wasn't even what it was today, what it is today. It was something very different. And Drake was so popular, putting him as the face helped Apple Music. Apple Music didn't necessarily help Drake the way you think it did. I think it's reverse. I think the
Well,
music
I was referencing
consumption.
Spotify.
Okay, Spotify, Apple. I think Drake adds
Okay,
more value to
he
those
does.
platforms than those platforms add to his music consumption.
That I don't agree with that.
I
I
agree with
think
that.
that's
I
true.
don't.
Hold on, wait. I
1000%.
agree with that now, but I think the reason why he was able to get to that level of value is because of the way they poured into him
Yes,
before.
That's not
So
that's what
yes,
true.
I
that's
agree
That's
with.
true.
not true. What incentive would they have had back then to do that on the
Well,
company side?
we're not talking about on the come up, but I do think that there is a level. So for example, a lot of what Drake can rest his hat on has to do with he's been a number one artist for this span of time. He has not had ebbs and flows in his success because there has also been a machine pushing him. So that's what
Absolutely
I'm.
incorrect. Absolutely
So
incorrect.
there's no machine behind Drake at all from start to
I
finish
didn't
to
say
from
Hold
that.
on,
from
hold
And
on.
beginning.
and
So
and
that's what are we
Okay,
talking
wait,
about?
wait.
That's what
hold
I'm
on.
saying.
So
Can I?
wait a minute. Me and Jonay are on the same side. Can you professionals explain to us
Mhm.
how you're coming to the conclusion that the machine wasn't
Here's
responsible
what a
for
They're
machine
Drake?
is,
conflating
guys. Let me
arguments.
break the news to everyone. A machine just means you have a really good team. That's it. Stop with all the bullshit. Everyone
Yeah.
uses this word machine as if it's like this button someone presses behind the scenes and then all of a sudden your career is magically amazing. That is not true.
Okay, well, Ian, that's not what being said. That's not what's being said. Let me be very clear. So I also was one of the people that read the documents, and one of the things in the petition, Drake mentioned that at UMG there were people that were loyal to him that were fired, and he believed that that had to do with some of the issues behind the scenes. So if he believes that he had a certain level of loyalty and relationship behind the scenes with this giant UMG, what are you saying? I think that's where maybe I'm lost, and I'm okay to learn
Hmm.
today, but help me to understand if
Right.
this man is saying, hey, I have a certain level of relationship equity with Lucian, with UMG, I have this deal, I have these people behind the scenes. Those are not created or developed for just to say I have it. He's using that to his advantage for his career, or has in the past.
But that's all we're talking about is his professional career. It's not like that's
Yeah,
out of context and it doesn't
I
make
know.
him a criminal. That makes
It
him.
doesn't. It doesn't. But but I think what Elle and I are saying is it's okay when you do it. It's a problem when I do it. Meaning it's okay when you get the benefits of having the relationships and having quote unquote the label connections that would push. Say there was. My thing is okay.
I don't think Drake.
We
Here's
don't
the
think
thing.
that during
Drake
the
has
back to
never.
back. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off, but I
I,
don't think the issue is what you're saying. I think the issue is Drake's success is truly built off of people wanting to consume and replay his music. What he's pointing at is a falsified sense of popularity that is being perpetuated by certain platforms that have strategic partnerships with the labels. Period. That's it.
And
And
I
And,
think the same thing happened with Drake.
and
Hold on, let me say this real quick because Ian,
Yeah.
I think you are misrepresenting. Like when I say machine, you doing this kind of y'all don't know what y'all talking about. It's not just a button. I'm talking about a machine in the same way it's described in that petition. He is describing a machine, some people who conspired together to blow up a song. When you blow up a song like that, it increases the organic fellowship of the song, because I've heard this song 20 times now, I may go and play the song. So it's not that there are no organic listeners, but the false impressions is what led to the organic listeners. So what I'm saying is, I think that same machine has been
Hmm.
working for Drake years ago, when everything, before everybody just loved Drake, but Drake flooded the market and you heard his shit so much that
Hmm.
Drake became a mainstay. So I'm not talking about a magical button that I think you press
Right.
Exactly.
I
that
get
makes
that.
everything blow up. I'm talking about the same system he's describing in that petition. So if he
Absolutely.
benefited from that, which I know he benefited from that, because I remember when everybody didn't fucking like
I
Drake.
totally disagree about. Can I just? I want to just make a point. When Drake started becoming popular and his music started flying, Spotify was not even a public company, let
They
alone in business.
But
used
you keep
him.
going. But why
Hold
do you
They
keep
on,
going to the
used
hold on.
beginning?
Please, ladies, y'all voices ain't cute. Not when y'all screaming together in unison. Let him land and then attack.
That was hate.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Ian. Land so they can fuck you up.
Ian, you're on mute.
There you
Might be a
go.
double mute.
Okay, got it.
Ian, we don't hear you. There you go.
When Drake became popular and his music was being consumed at a level that the music industry had never seen before, companies like Spotify, A, were not only not public companies, B, they were not in business with the labels. They were trying to get in business with the labels so that they can get more of the catalog on their services. What they
Okay, so
so what
So Ian, I think that's a point that we all are on the same page about. No one is arguing that he had a grassroots level build to his career. No one is saying that. What we're saying, at some point from that point in time to today,
mhm,
he has reaped the benefits of having relationships at UMG
mhm.
and allowing those relationships to push his career. That's all people are saying, and
Ian
that's
is
almost
trying to
kind of
add
being
very important
danced around.
nuance to that
But I don't
argument.
care.
I
But
wish
that's
we
not.
should
But that's
let
not.
him do that.
Well, I also can speak and I wanted to interject what we're saying. So if he wants to add additional detail, that's okay. But you can't refute what we're saying by answering a point that's not being asked. So what we're talking about is at a certain point in his career, he has had the benefits.
Ian, if
Larry
you could please
Jackson
continue
told
adding the
us.
nuance that you were adding, because I think it's very relevant to the points that are being made.
Well, again, I was asking a specific question. So again, Ian, do you believe that any point in his career he has had the support of the industry or a machine or whatever you want to consider it? You don't think at any point?
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying
Okay.
is the industry needed him more than he needed the industry.
Well, let's be
This
let's be
Okay,
version
cool.
of
clear.
the
And
Let's be
industry
also,
did
clear.
hold
not
on, let me say
exist when
something
Drake got
else.
started. Drake
Hold
was
on,
the
let me say
One
something
catalyst to
else.
second.
start this version of the industry. They waited until he had to step on his leverage. This is why they're doing this for Kendrick Lamar right now. This is why the lawsuit is happening. So y'all
This
aren't
is hate.
arguing that, okay,
Who
you
is this?
benefited
Because
from this.
she's right.
Well, he
Who
didn't
is this?
benefit
That's
from it
Grandpa
because he
Rick.
created it. They
That's
created it
Rick.
on Drake's back. That is the point Ian's
Let's
trying to
go,
make right
Rick.
now.
Okay,
Okay,
Let's
and
and,
let's
hold
and
on.
again,
Wait, hold
so
on. Let me say
okay,
something.
I want to say
Ian
something.
is
But do
leaning
we
real
think
quick, real
that
quick.
Drake create
Ian is
y'all
leaning on
crazy as shit?
real quick. Ian is leaning on Spotify, and he has a good point of when Spotify went public.
Correct.
But Spotify is not the only thing named in this petition
Thank
as far
you.
as tactics to blow up this music. There are other tactics names, shit with influencers, changing the percentages
Payola.
there's different steps and standards of practice that are explained in this petition. And I'm saying Drake is able to outline those standards because they've been doing that shit for him. That's how he
You're
knows what the
only
fuck it
saying
is.
that because Joe said that, and I'm sorry.
First of
What?
all, I didn't hear Joe say that, Ian, and I do love how you always go back to Big and Joe up. And because I love Joe, I'm going to appreciate it, but I'm just going to let it roll off my back. I'm saying that because it's my opinion. So I agree with Joe, I guess. But
And I
Drake
respect your
benefited from that
opinion,
shit.
just so you know, Al.
Thank you, Ian. But Drake benefited from that.
I agree with what Elle said. I agree with what Ian is saying. Um, that's all I got.
I just
I agree with both of
But I
y'all.
do agree
I
that
do.
now Drake is. I think that now. Okay. I think the industry needs Drake, but I think the industry made Drake because they knew they were going to need him.
And
Like, I don't know if
I
I'm
have
wording
I have
it the right
another
way.
point here that I think could be
Go ahead,
helpful
yeah.
contextually. I think Drake is looking at his career as an arc, and I think he's looking at all the businesses that he's helped make public Goliaths, and
Facts.
he's saying, I've had enough. Not only did I bring trillions into Universal Music Group, I helped Universal merge and create an alternative additional revenue
I
stream
helped
with
Apple
Spotify.
tremendously.
I
Yeah, that's the
This
house
is
that Drake
Drake's
Right,
built. Yeah,
house.
at this
literally.
He
point.
helped, and he's also funding whatever other hit artists that are under that label that Lucian.
That's the part where I get a little tricky. I muted the stage. That's just the music business.
Right.
If artist A is keeping the lights on, then yes, artist C, we're running his project with the money we made from artist A. That's been the lay of the land. I don't. Oh, I'm
Right.
sorry, I didn't unmute it. Yeah, that's been
I
the
get
lay of the
that, but
land.
what I'm saying is there's a certain point when you don't have to accept terms the way they're presented to you when you are that X factor. And I think he's reached that point where he's like, look, if you quietly
That's
can't
naive.
address what?
But
Ian,
Wait,
well,
go
please
ahead.
I
finish,
finish.
get.
Ian.
Do not
Finish,
stop.
Ian. Ian,
No,
please
Listen,
finish.
finish.
No, finish the
Yeah,
point because
finish.
this is
Yeah.
Yeah,
progressing.
go ahead, Ian.
Mhm.
I think he's reached a point where he sees the kind of intrinsic and halo effect value that he's having on the entire industry as a
Facts.
whole. And he's like, enough is enough. I'm no longer asking you, Lucian and Universal, for some $500 million piggy bank. I want a piece of the house
When I
forever.
fucking made y'all $28 billion.
Right. Give me a piece of the house so that if I never make another record again, you are going to address the catalog and my impact in the industry. Everything I've done musically, halo effect on the alternative businesses, the new verticals I've helped create, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And until that happens, I'm gonna make a fucking stink.
And what they did in response, and this is why you get a lawsuit, instead of working with him on that request, they decided to use all these tricks to promote a song calling him a pedophile, to malign his fucking character, and undercut his leverage in that argument.
But
This is why it's a lawsuit.
but
That's
can
So
I
that's
ask
the
a
wicked.
difference
question?
that y'all
But
are
can I
not
ask a
addressing.
question to can I ask a question to Ian? So Ian, you believe that this playbook just was created with Drake? You don't think they've done the same to all of the greats that have made a fuss?
This has
So that's
never
no, no,
happened
no, no,
in
no, no.
history
Listen, but
ever.
This
again, Ian,
happened to Michael Jackson.
I've let you land several times. But can somebody else land so you can then answer after the point's made?
I just put my seatbelt on. Go ahead, Lamb.
Okay. So what I'm saying.
You are so phony. Go ahead.
So
I liked it. I liked it.
what I'm saying is, do we believe that the moment that you ruffle feathers at the top, that Drake is the first person to experience that industry then collapsing on him? It's happened to
No.
Michael Jackson. What
Prince.
are we talking about? These are the
Sam
things that have
Cooke.
happened to the greats that have spoken out against the machine, quote unquote. I know you guys hate that word, but the machine that they once partnered with. This is nothing new. And I think to your point, if Drake is now saying, okay, this is happening to me, and now I want to flip the industry on its head, I think it is okay for people that are watching and speculating to say, but you're kind of doing it once you've already reaped the full benefit and kind of drain the system of all of what you could have gotten. Because my thing is, why wait until a certified pedophile line for you to say, okay, it's time for me to be independent after you've just signed this crazy deal and you were
Mhm.
completely fine with the benefits until it made you look
But he
crazy?
didn't know.
He
I
wasn't
understand.
He
Okay.
aware.
didn't know until
Okay.
that. He didn't know. He thought that Lucian's my man, the company's
Mhm.
behind me, Kendrick. But he didn't know it was like this.
Yep.
And
Well,
And
I
to
got a
further
separate
counter
question.
that point, does that mean just because he previously benefited, if we're acknowledging this has happened to artists in the past, shouldn't now with the information we have make a better decision than audiences have in the past to
yes,
side with the artist, to back the artist?
yes.
Because we've seen how this fight goes. They try to kill him, they call him a pedophile, they do all this stuff to malign his character, ruin his reputation, ruin his income earning potential, all this other stuff. This is the time for us as the audience to get smarter than we have been in the past.
Yes.
I don't
Yeah,
know,
people are
Rick,
No,
being
no,
So
Carlene.
fucked up
no,
wait,
in
no,
the
wait, wait,
no,
past,
wait,
no,
wait,
no,
but
wait,
now
wait,
no,
we
wait,
no,
need
wait,
no.
wait,
to let
Rick.
them
Be-
know that we
Wait,
in the
let me
future.
reply to Rick really quickly. Rick, I agree with everything you just said. I want to add. You don't think that would have applied to Drake as well? I said this on the pod. If he knew the
Yes, it
fight
would
that he
have.
was really up against, it ain't time to fuck everybody's baby mama.
Facts.
Absolutely.
And
It
get
ain't
into it
time
with
to do
Jackie
all
I
of
when he
this
on
agree,
other.
his
but
half
You
It's
void.
not.
this is
fighting the
this
It's
is
biggest
not.
this is your
Goliath
shit. You're
in
talking about
music.
No,
emotionalism. This
that's
is bigger than
no
your
Rick.
fucking
No, I'm
baby
No, I
not.
dad.
think
We're
that's
talking
a
about
great point.
numbers.
No, Rick, I'm not. You're not listening. I don't care who he fucks, but you got to know who you're fighting. There's
Thank
no time
you.
for this other shit
Thank
if you
you.
fighting the biggest nigga in music. There's no
Absolutely.
I
time for
agree
nothing
with
Yeah,
Joe
because
else.
I
here.
feel like the fight that you describing, it requires somewhat of a underdog positioning. And Drake has made sure
Absolutely.
not to present himself as an underdog. He's been going out of his way to shit on niggas forever. So
You
if you
dangle
just
nothing but
shitting
number
on
ones in
niggas, shitting
people's
on niggas,
faces.
shitting
It's
on
like, what
He
is
niggas
we
comes
talking
against
forever,
about?
you
capitalist
can't then hold
corporations. He
on, listen, Rick.
automatically is the
Listen, Rick.
underdog.
No, I'm talking about the positioning. You can't shit on niggas, shit on niggas, shit on niggas, and then turn around and say, hey, everybody come with me. We about to bring this shit down because now I'm a
Nope, you
victim.
on your
No,
own.
that don't
You
fucking
on your
work
own.
like that. It don't
Period.
work like that. And I also think y'all misrepresented Drake. Yes, Drake has a market share. Yes, the industry is on Drake's back. But when y'all say Drake, I'm thinking about Drake, the brand. And that brand come with teams that come with a whole shitload of people who are doing work, making deals in order to make him look good. It's not just Drake himself. It's not just Aubrey Graham himself. He's just so
Yeah, but
amazing. He's just
we
making these
understand
amazing
that.
songs.
We
It's
understand
not
that.
that, it's a
Yeah,
team.
we never
So
argued
Yeah,
that. Every
we
okay,
got
so
argument
that
is
that
part.
team is coming from Universal. So you can't
No,
then
it's
turn around and
not.
say,
no.
No, it
That's
is
where your
No,
not.
no, no, no,
misconception
no,
okay,
no,
comes
well
no, no,
maybe
in.
that's
no.
where I'm wrong at.
He does have
Maybe
his
that's
own
where I'm wrong
team.
at.
They have a team, and he has a team.
And which team do you think is more responsible for the success of Drake? His team or
His
Universal's team?
own.
His team, they
Both.
cannot boost bad music. Y'all finna learn this with Kendrick Lamar. They can only do so much if the product is not
Watch your
good.
mouth,
Yo, this
Grandpa
Listen,
girl
Rick.
is
Yeah, what are we
crazy.
listen.
talking
Like,
about?
it's
Kendrick
Watch
Lamar
your
it's
just made
mouth,
songs.
Rick.
Joe,
insane.
What are
leave
you
Rick
talking
It's
about?
alone.
Not like the
insane.
Shout out to
product is
Rick,
No,
not
don't
good.
yo.
tell
The
us
Go
nothing.
product
ahead.
has
Ian,
to
mind
be
your
facts.
business. Mind
Drake
your
Yeah,
walked the
no,
business.
because
facts.
that's another thing that's capped. Trying to act like not like us don't actually
Right,
slap, and that's why
exactly.
motherfuckers.
All right, I muted this because we're past a music talk. Who cares what music we like or don't like? It's bigger than that. Go ahead.
How we gonna go ahead if that's what we was talking about?
Well,
Well, I
stop
would
talking
like
All
to
right,
about
ask a
that.
well,
question. Can I ask a
segue
question?
us.
I want to ask a question. So,
I only
do we
brought
feel
that up.
that do we feel like Drake is bigger than UMG in terms of
Yes.
Well, let me just finish the question.
No,
Do we feel Drake is bigger than UMG impact, power, and authority within this industry?
no,
No.
no, no, no,
And
and no.
because of AI, no. If I got all your fucking rights and I can repurpose all your music,
Thank you. So
They
so
don't
Ian,
have
so
absolutely
his
for that.
so
They
rights.
Ian,
don't
well,
have
no,
his
I want
rights. They
Ian,
don't have his
I'm
rights.
telling you personally from conversations I had with somebody in this team who was next to him yesterday. There's a reason he can't walk. Meta offered him 2.5 billion. He can't take it because he can't take all the fucking music. That's why Joe brought up that master's question. What is the master's worth if you can't walk out and get what you? I called my guy before. Yo, what's up with the Drake shit? Can we? I don't know. I know people around him. Yeah, we offered him too, but can't walk yet.
No,
Let
he
me
can
help you
walk
guys with
out when the
something
deal
though.
is over.
He can't
The
walk
deal been
out.
over.
He may not be
He
able to
still
walk
can't
out,
walk.
but he could
He
do
can't
something
walk.
else.
They're not letting that kid walk.
Hmm.
There's threats on his motherfucking life, like right now,
Anywhere.
anytime.
They would try to end him. They would rather see him gone than let him walk out the door.
So
That's
then,
And
not
so
this
then,
true.
is
why
why
make
we
an
need to. This
enemy?
is why he's
So
a
why make
martyr.
an enemy of a man, a martyr? Y'all are so dramatic. Why?
Wait, am I
So why? So
misunderstanding this?
I
why?
don't
Am I
even have to
misunderstanding
explain it
this?
because
Hold
that's
on,
what
hold
y'all
on.
called him before. But
Can y'all
this is
tell
what
me if
makes
I'm
this a
misunderstanding
martyr-like
this?
fight because he
No, it's
can't
not.
just freely walk out the door. They're trying to turn him into a slave
But
and pay him
he
less than what he's
chose
worth.
that.
That's
He
not
chose
right.
slavery. He
That nigga
chose
Trying
chose
to
to be
turn
slavery.
a
him.
slave so
What
he
are we
can
talking
shit on
about? He
niggas.
chose it.
Y'all still on level 1. Can we bring it up to level 3? I
Guys,
got it. He
No, you
shit on
on
niggas.
level. You
He
on
guys,
talk
ground
shit to him.
zero
He
because
fucked their
Yeah,
you're
baby
not
let's
mama.
go
speaking
to
Blah
the
blah
up.
next
blah.
Hold
We
on.
tier.
don't care.
Joe, do the
Fuck
mute
the
thing.
Yo,
capitalists.
let Rick land so she can stop telling us we on level one. Go ahead, Rick.
The level 3 argument here is that yes, y'all are right. He didn't do everything he was supposed to do to get the army behind him. I agree. It was poor strategy. Yes, he's behind on the curve. Yes, he should have been on this in 26. Joe, yes, you were right. You've been arguing this argument on your podcast for 8 fucking years now. You was talking about he should have went indie when he re-signed the deal. We heard it. You were right. Is that what y'all want to hear? Okay, Joe, you're right. But we're here now. It's 2024. They trying to turn this man into a slave after they built it on his back, and if he don't want to be their slave, they're gonna turn him into a fucking in the media. That's not okay. We
But
cannot
all
let
right, wait.
that.
This is
The
my
culture should not let
Rick.
that. Because it's Drake today is gonna be somebody else tomorrow. They're gonna do it to Kendrick tomorrow. If they get it off on Drake, then they can get it off on any fucking body. And y'all keep letting them and rob us.
But
This is the exact shit,
it
and we
can't
know
happen
it's
to
happening. But
Kendrick.
because we
It
don't like
can't
Drake,
happen
we
to
gonna let them
Kendrick
get it
because
off.
Kendrick's already
That's
independent.
fucked
So what
up.
you talking about? Kendrick would
Where's
never
Rick?
sign a deal.
I
Kendrick
want to
would
sign.
never
I want
sign
to
a
sign
deal.
Grandpa Rick.
Of course you do, because she
I
has your
want to sign
size.
Grandpa
So
Rick.
here's the thing. Yeah, now you want to enslave her? Is that what you're trying to say?
What?
Don't
Whoa,
do
whoa,
that.
whoa,
Come on,
whoa.
don't do
Whoa, that
that.
was
It,
Please,
aggressive. That was
please. Let's
aggressive.
be into. Let me
disgusting.
She had
apologize
a
for
good
him. Hold
point, but
on.
whoa, it's the holidays.
But what I'm just saying to the point that Grandpa Rick is making. Okay, cool. But what I'm saying is, nobody else is making those types of deals. People are doing independent imprints already. Drake is the only one in bed the way he was with UMG.
No, he's not.
What?
He
Y'all
got
don't
in
think
bed with
y'all
them
wait,
5 years ago.
but
Clearly,
Okay,
y'all don't
we're
think
but
already established he didn't know what he did when he did it. If you listen to the pod
right.
today,
Rick,
when
I
he
think
took
you
the
got a bad
400, he
connection.
didn't know.
Can y'all hear
Okay,
her
got
clearly or no?
No,
not
I can
clearly,
hear her.
no.
yeah, I can hear her. I can hear her
Oh, then
I
clearly.
that's
couldn't
me.
hear
My
her
bad.
clearly.
Yeah, you guys don't think that Drake isn't fully aware of what can potentially be revealed from this
Yeah,
lawsuit?
he's aware.
He's fully aware of that. So
He's
I think
fully
he's
aware.
willing to take the risk.
And you got to commend him for that, to know your life is on the line while you fighting this
I
battle.
totally agree. That's the superpower he has, is that he knows what's going on. He has
Do
decisions
y'all
to
think
make.
there's a way where he still gets his big money from them even during all of this?
Yes.
Never.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe.
Go
Yes,
up
I
there,
think
I'm gonna
so.
be
kiss
honest.
that ring,
They
say
make it
sorry.
easier for you to capitulate than to fight. They're gonna try
Yep.
to. They're gonna always make it easier for you to just bend over before they let
That's
you
the
walk
tricky
out the
part for
door.
me.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
I say
But I
they're
wonder
gonna
how
give
that
him
can
some plus
happen.
some.
But how
He's
can
When you
that
say big
happen
money,
if he's
another
on?
400 or the 2 billion he's asking for?
But I have a question. How
What
can that
he's
happen
asking for.
if he's doing the whole
Oh no.
payola?
No. Fuck no, Joe
I don't
Budden.
know. I don't get that part.
No. I'm sorry, I misunderstood your question. The answer is no. Fuck no, he's not getting no 2 billion now. Really? Why would they do
He's
that?
gonna get whatever he wants.
Yeah.
I
Not
guarantee
from
it.
UMG.
After
Okay,
he's saying
not
that
from
he,
UMG.
yeah,
He's
that's what I'm
getting
saying.
whatever he wants from Lucian. That's a fact.
So, Ian, you think
Oh,
he's going to be able to renegotiate this $400 million deal to a $2 billion deal after this lawsuit?
Absolutely. Because guess
Uh-uh.
what? Let me tell you
Wow.
something. Regardless of what he's saying or what's being said in the media right now, the rights to the music and the income streams that are generated from them are all that the label gives a shit about.
Wait, hold on. Can somebody mute? If you're not talking, can you mute? Because you got a crazy feedback, whoever it is. If you're not talking and your mic is off mute, please mute it. Go ahead, Ian.
How come women being polite sound so sassy and spicy? Go ahead,
Did
Ian.
I sound sassy? I was trying to be
Yeah,
oh
so
it's
I love
not
it.
just
I
you
love
though.
it.
my.
It's not just you.
I love it
Yeah,
so
because
much.
I'm
Joe
trying to
just
be
called
so
me
like y'all heard
aggressive.
the feedback, right?
I
Y'all heard
heard
the
it.
feedback, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes,
he
we
called me
There's too
heard.
many people
aggressive 2 minutes
yelling.
ago. Oh, Ian, you in this condescending tone. I'm about to get on you.
Stop,
I'm about to be
stop,
on you.
stop.
Yeah, I be feeling your condescending tone sometimes.
Okay,
Like, calm
But
It's
down.
called
okay.
passion, guys. It's called
I
passion.
It
know,
is.
I
It
know,
is.
I know.
Sis.
You know,
right, okay,
I
Yeah,
so
I
love you
call
guys
cap on that
anyways.
shit you just said.
What?
I
which
don't think you. I don't think you truly believe that.
Oh, I absolutely believe it.
Me and
wait,
you
what
It's
was
do
the
too
cap?
much
impossible
business for
for
me to
him
think
to
that you
get
believe that.
facts.
Joe,
They're not giving him two after he filed his fucking
I don't know
petition.
Like,
what the
I don't get
number is
that.
because I don't understand the entire asset class that he has that he's offering Universal. But let me just say, whatever he really wants, he is going to get. There is value that is calculated in ways that the general public has no idea how it's done and how they're monetizing off of his music, his market share, his lure to get other
My
artists to
question to
sign.
you, Ian, because I understand all of that,
Hmm.
is now I'll bring it back to us.
Okay.
The we were the hottest thing at Spotify, and then they pushed us down to devalue us while we knew we were still hotter than all of those people.
Hmm.
The people that he's dealing with,
Hmm.
this is part of his beef, have a large hand in where his value sits.
That's an illusion in my head. Because
Oh,
let me explain it to you. That's what they did to us. And instead of us believing what they told us our value was, what did you and I do?
The same thing I'm telling him to do.
Okay.
Wait, but it wasn't true in your case. So Ian,
And
maybe
it's
you're
not and it's
biased
not
because of
true in
what.
his case. That's the
Yes, it
point.
is.
What's
I
true?
think maybe you're biased
He's
because of
never
what
gonna
you went
know,
through.
Ian, if he don't go outside.
That's my point.
Right.
What
That's
if
what the
he's
100 gigs is about.
what if he has already been outside? And what I'm
They
saying,
snatched that 100 gigs off the internet so
So
fast.
fast.
It's up
Yep.
right now. Just watching it.
okay.
That's why I don't want to hear all that shit y'all say. Oh, he owns it. He does what he wants. No, the fuck he
Joe,
does
it's up
not.
I'm
right
not
No,
now.
wait,
saying
He
no.
that.
does
He
not.
owns his masters, but he's renting it out. Basically, it's almost like
It's a
refinancing your
lease.
house. Like
It's a
you
It is
own
lease.
your
very
house,
much,
but you
very
you
much so.
refinance. Yeah. So until they
Yes.
recoup, then they don't own it, but they're renting it until they recoup. Am I
No,
incorrect?
you're
If
absolutely
you
right.
refinance, that means you still owe.
Yeah, he owns the copyrights
That's what
and the
he's saying,
masters
but
to
he's
all
not
his
getting any
shit.
value out of it because they still have their hand in the pot. I think that's what she's
Ian, I
trying to
want to
say.
But
address
he
your
And he
point.
can't and he
negotiated
can't
that.
change renters.
Exactly.
No, I don't agree.
Ian,
So,
I appreciate your
So
optimism.
Ian, if you don't agree, then why won't he? We already established
right.
that he can get whatever he want from whoever he want. So what's the holdup?
The holdup there's a couple of reasons. One is at an artist at his scale, you need distribution and the manpower to actually work the assets correctly. And so that only limits you to call it a handful of different partners that you could be with that forget about the money portion of it, but that can handle the scale of your business. The other piece of it is he may own all his masters, but in the moment, he may be waiting for the licensing rights to be up with Universal so that he could take his entire boatload and move it to one place. But the reality is, the bigger loss and potential loss for Universal and the major label system is if he starts hinting at going independent, it's more detrimental than him leaving and going independent because of the implications it has on future artists,
Right.
not today, future artists. That trickle down effect could destroy the exact institution that is UMG today. It may take
So,
10 years, it may take 20 years.
Well, not if they destroy him first.
They're
right.
not going to
So
destroy
Wait,
him
wait,
first.
Ian,
did
can I ask you
Ian
a
Ian,
just
you're
say
question?
very
him?
optimistic, but
No,
this
Ian.
does
Did
not
Yeah.
turn
Ian
out
just
well for
say
Black
him
artists.
hinting at it
I'm
is
But
just
and I
bigger
gonna
was
than
leave it
him
gonna
at that.
say
doing it?
that.
Yes,
I
the
was gonna
hint
say
is
that.
bigger than the action. Yes.
So Ian, can I ask you a question? Do you think
Hell
that
no.
Drake has now ruined it for other big name artists to have a seat at the table because now he's doing an expose?
No, I don't
What
think he.
seats?
What's
What?
what seat does he have, or is he fighting
You
for a seat?
Yes, he's trying to get
don't
the seat.
believe he
They
has
don't
a
want to
seat at
give
the
him the seat.
table?
They ruined his character.
That's the point
Y'all
I'm
don't think
saying.
that has what? I'm
He is
so
fighting
confused.
for
No, I
the
don't.
So
seat.
if
That's
he's
been
bigger,
the
if
No,
whole
he's
he
I
bigger,
does
point.
don't.
That's the
not.
whole
Because
this
when you say,
11-3 conversation
wait,
we're
hold on,
having.
Jonay. When you
no,
say seat at the
but
table, I think you're
but
talking
I was
about.
asking, but I was
But are you talking about ownership in Universal?
Correct.
Yes, a
Is
no,
that
I'm
board
what you're
talking
seat,
talking
about
about?
just
ownership, share, stuff like that.
No, no.
You're
He
talking
has
about
well,
what,
no
no,
Jonay?
Class
well,
A
it was
shares.
okay. Hold
No
on,
equity.
hold up.
I already
Did
think
y'all ask Rick or me? Were y'all
I
asking
asked
me to clarify
Jonay.
what I meant or what? Okay, thank
all
you.
I was.
So
We
what
Oh,
asked
I
you,
was
but we
talking
wanted to hear
about
Rick's
was
answer. Oh.
That's facts.
okay, well, yeah, well
I'm
then you can
joking.
ask
Go
Rick. That's
ahead.
fine.
Go ahead, Jonay.
So what I was saying was when I'm saying a seat at the table, I'm talking about his seat in the table when it's a certain level of a deal and relationship and equity splits and shares when it comes to UMG. So I don't think that Drake has the average deal like an artist. He didn't have the average deal with artists. To your point, Ian, he doesn't have the average deal when he was working with Apple. He doesn't have the average thing with Spotify. Do you think all of those opportunities for him to peek behind the screen are now done because now he's revealing things that he became
absolutely
privy to
not.
because of
No,
his relationship?
he's still gonna have
Okay.
access to that no matter what because he is a one of
And I
one.
say I know he is. I'm saying will that stop it
No,
for others
absolutely
is what
not
I'm
because
saying.
guess what, guys?
It
Okay.
If that.
definitely will.
Oh,
Dog,
sorry, go
they
ahead.
killed DEI worldwide. You think they're gonna give Drake a board seat to one of the most important companies in the world? Are they actively
Worldwide,
killing
it was crazy.
diversity inclusion?
Ian, they
Walmart
think
just announced
yes.
they're coming up off their D&I
That's why.
initiative.
They
That's
just
why
said
I'm
that.
done having this
So
talk
Ian,
with like just
that's why
casual
I'm glad
music
Black
fans.
Ian just said it. Like the
No, they're killing
Ian,
this shit at
the other
they've been
Ian,
stepping
the
on his
other Ian is
rollout.
saying my exact
No,
point. Thank
what?
you.
I'm confused. What's the
No,
point?
The
no, no.
other was
No, not
shady.
you. The other
Yeah, that
The
Ian.
other
was.
The
was
I
other
too
shady.
Ian.
am
Come
confused.
on, I know the other you're my guy. It's my guy.
Ian,
But
Black
if they're
Ian.
cutting DEI worldwide, and he talked shit to Lucian 2 years ago, if he was
What does
going to get that
DEI have to
equity,
do with this?
The reason they
Because he's
don't want
asking
him
for
up on
equity
that
in all
board.
these
Why not
deals.
just say yes to Drake? Drake deserves this.
That
He
is
put
not
in
the
the work. He
same
made the
shit.
money. Just give him what the fuck he wants. No, they're
It's
not
Life
not
going
is
to
a
give
not
it
it's
to him.
not
about
You know
what
about
you
the
why?
money,
deserve.
guys.
It's
This
not
isn't a
about what
money.
you
This
deserve.
is
He
about
wants equity.
power. This is about
Yes.
power. It's not about money. He's got the money. This
It's
is
the
Mm-hmm.
about they
board.
don't want
Okay.
him.
He wants to
Yeah,
be a member of the board. He wants to
that's
have
right.
shares. He wants all the
Yeah, that's
things,
what
and
I'm
they don't want to give
thinking.
him that because he's black. I'm gonna
All
just
right,
say
so
it.
we
He's
all agree.
biracial. They don't
That's
want
what
him
We
that's
because
what
all
I'm
he's that
thinking.
agree.
black.
That's what
Yeah.
I
It is what it
agree with.
is.
I
I
agree
don't,
with that.
and
I
I
agree
also
with
don't
that.
know
That's
if
what I'm
it's
saying.
race. I don't know if it's race. I think it's
And you're
just they
saying
don't.
that from a place
Ian,
of
Oh,
privilege.
Ian,
Ian,
what
here
Don't
the
you
attack
fuck are
my
you
go.
dog,
talking about,
nigga.
Ian? We're
Come
in
on, use my
America.
black
It's
card real quick.
race.
Can I
Oh
just
God.
But
finish what I'm saying?
Yes, after we exclaim.
No.
Yeah.
No, I
he,
can't. I'm gonna get attacked. I'm not
No,
saying
no,
Ian.
nothing.
No,
I
Go
Ian.
was just,
ahead,
I was
No,
Ian.
just,
go
I was
ahead,
just
Ian.
saying
Go
that
You'll
ahead.
be
Go
all
ahead. Go
right,
It's
ahead.
bro.
okay. We
Smart
can do it
move,
without it because if
smart
it's
move,
gonna be
buddy.
some
Nah, Joe,
Now,
I've
hatred,
learned
Ian,
my
Ian,
lesson,
you'll
buddy. I've
survive,
learned my
Ian.
lesson.
You
white
don't think it's
explaining, we
about
don't want to hear
race
it.
because of what? How many black people are on the board?
I can't tell you how many black people are on the board of Universal. I'm just telling you that I
Of
don't think they
course.
want. What do you mean? Of course. Like I work
No, Ian,
there. I
keep
don't.
going. Don't get distracted. You don't
yeah,
think
come
what?
on, let's be nice. Breathe in deep, buddy.
Breathe it
Come on.
out. There you
Come
go.
on.
Now
Feel me?
finish what you were saying.
Woo side.
We here for you.
You can
I
do it,
got your
Ian.
back.
I'm
You
rubbing my
use my mic
earlobe.
real
Joe,
quick.
Joe,
Ian.
Rub it.
should I stay
Woosah.
away from this
Hey,
show?
hey, 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 run for your
No, go
life.
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. I think there's a certain type of person that is on the board of these companies, call it Universal Music or the major label institutions or major movie studios. And the second that somebody from a rank below them has the opportunity to come in and take the seat that they occupy, it becomes a threat to them, not because of the money they may benefit from, but because of the decision making power that they will now have access to. And that decision making power isn't a threat financially, it's a threat to that person's job who sits next to them. Because what if they find out that the other board members who are sitting there that have been cashing out for decades and decades and decades actually have no purpose and no value other than to be the vultures they may be?
And we know that. We're
So you
saying
think it's a
we're saying
class
what is the
issue?
threat? Why does Drake this is why Ye talked about this. When they start calling them rappers to put them in their place, that's why they don't want Drake up there. So the reason he's a threat to them because he's a quote rapper. What do you think that's a
Is
euphemism
somebody
for,
talking?
Ian?
Yes, Rick is talking.
Yeah,
I'm
Grandpa
gonna go
Rick
down there.
was.
I'm gonna go down
I
there.
can't hear, but it's fine.
So Ian, you believe it's a class issue more so than a
I
race
think it's a
issue?
socioeconomic issue more than anything.
Okay, well,
Okay,
there is some
so
intersection.
Ian, do
Hold on
you
one
not
second, Jonette.
know? Yeah,
There is some
exactly.
intersectionality with socioeconomic issues and race. Are
Yeah,
you
and
aware of
that,
that?
of course, that I agree with
Okay.
100,000%. And it could very well be a race issue. I just don't want to jump to that right away. I think it's more of a structural issue and a socioeconomic issue. And we don't give these seats up. It's like a Supreme Court justice. They fucking rule until they're 300 years old.
They
It's
don't want
that
black people
mentality.
either.
I understand what you're saying.
Right.
Ian, I do understand what you're saying. I just always find it interesting how people don't want to do the conspiracy theory with race, but they want to do it with class. I
No,
always find that interesting.
I'm saying
Everything
it
else.
could very well be race. Don't
No,
take
no,
it
no. I
away.
get what you said.
Right.
No, Ian, I totally understand what you're saying and why you said it.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
just also commenting that it's always
Mhm.
interesting to me that people believe in the boogeyman of class. We don't want y'all up here because y'all not of our ilk. But then when it's about race, sometimes they're like, well, no, nobody's tripping like
I,
that. Like
yeah, you're
it's
right.
kind of the
You're
same
right.
mentality.
Yeah, you're right. I just think it's really an insecurity thing. And it's like, if you let someone get that
Mm-hmm.
power that you don't look at as your equal, and then they get that seat, they have the ability. It's really like an insecurity. They look at it and go, oh shit, I could now be removed from somebody I let in.
Right.
Yeah, it's like the cool
And
club.
and let me just say this, Ian. I want to say this though, Ian. I believe, based off of even what people have said, and this is me giving a little bit of credence to Drake, even though I don't do that often. He is the closest person in terms of qualifications, in terms of transcending the industry that we have. And so if they still view him as quite not up to par, then everything that everybody is trying to communicate, I think, is the elephant in the
Hmm.
room of why
Right.
not him? Because he has transcended, he has
Yeah,
the
I can
buying power,
answer
he
why not
has
him.
the
Please do.
go
Easily.
ahead.
Because when it was him, he ran around selling ass and being a work for hire for everybody to milk him dry. And now he's sitting there saying, I'm Drake. And they like, we finished. We got it. We finished.
Right. They already
You made
mined the
all of
gold.
us, you made all of us all the money in the world already. We done.
Damn.
He missed his moment on the cap
So
table.
you
For
think
those
he?
who get
Oh,
mad,
okay.
he missed his moment to be on the cap table.
But I think that would only be true if he doesn't still have some leverage. I still think Drake has superstar power, and if he put
What
out,
leverage do you have?
he
What
still
leverage do you think
But
he
super,
has?
he
but a
is
Wait,
Drake.
superstar, yeah,
name
superstar
that
doesn't matter when
leverage,
it comes to
please.
board
I
members.
am Drake. If I put out a super project, that shit is going to blow. He's still Drake. If he
The
put his face,
Universal
if he
can
put his
take losses for the next 5 years and watch that money to Spotify, and nobody, because of all the deregulation, no one will ever
Hmm.
catch wind.
Yeah, and I think to the point that I was saying is that him being saying I'm Drake just makes you a cash cow. It doesn't make you a colleague. And I think his mindset or his team or his strategy, I think maybe that's what Joe might be pointing to. I
I
don't
mean,
know if
he
that's
No,
tried
what
she's
to
we're
with
agreeing
Apple,
on,
absolutely
and
but
right.
I
Apple
think
laughed
And
him out
he's
the
the
door.
last one to notice. He's sitting there saying, "Hey, I'm Drake," but they like,
but that doesn't
like, we
matter when you're
already fucked
talking
you,
yeah.
like that.
nigga.
Yeah, you have to have a competitive advantage to show, okay, I'm also an executive. You can be the cash
And
cow, but you have to have a strategic mind to be an executive and make power moves behind the scenes, which is required when you're having a
But
seat at the
and it
table.
doesn't
I
help with
disagree
him
with that.
getting into
Well,
it with
that's what I was just about to say. Well, do all the other people with a seat at the table
There you
have that
go.
executive mind and that history of
No,
success like that, or did they just get
no,
grandfathered
because
in?
no, well, they do, but L, we know they do because they're white. There's never this qualifying
Thank
thing. But when
you.
you are a person that's an other, when you're an other, you do have to qualify. There are no qualifiers when you are a person with white
the,
privilege in this society. You don't have to
that's
do
true.
the checking
Yeah,
boxes thing.
that's true. I want to give context. I think what Joe keeps trying to stress though, try with Apple, they laughed him out the room. But when he had a chance to do so with JP Morgan Chase and Meta and him and Jackman Square, like he's not just doing some of the shit with rappers, there's a whole bunch of tech motherfuckers that hate him too.
I agree. He should
That
No,
deals that he
absolutely.
could have been in on cap tables and equity and got pushed out because of all them fucking interactions.
let,
Like
let,
he
let,
got into it with the Winklevoss twins.
guys. I want to say something. He Drake, and I'm leaving after this, but I love you guys, and I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Drake had a moment where Spotify pre-IPO, Apple streaming in its nascent stage. He could have owned a piece of Apple. He could have owned a piece of Spotify,
Facts.
and he didn't. You know what happened? And this is why he's so angry. I guarantee it. You know who owns a piece of each of those companies now? The labels. They blocked him out of those deals. They got the ownership.
Off
Universal
his
owns it
back.
off of
Off
his
his back,
back.
and he
Off
left it
his
on the
back.
table.
And that's why he's losing his fucking mind right now.
Dog, he
Because
could have had equity in Coinbase
all of it.
So
and dropped the ball.
to the both of both Ians, can I ask y'all a question? Did they take it from underneath his feet, or did he leave it on the table thinking, "Oh, if I'm in bed with them, they'll
No,
give
he
it back to
wasn't
me"?
thinking either of those things. He was thinking, I want my big check from the label because he was unaware and uninformed.
Okay, so he's
Well,
I,
no,
chasing a
I
his
check.
think
team
he
was
thought
helping
that he
him
didn't
chase a
need it and it
check.
would be available later. And
Yes.
in business, you learn when
That's
equity's
what I'm
there,
thinking,
you
Ian.
gotta
That's what I'm
take it
saying.
then. That
Yeah,
shit ain't
you got to
guaranteed.
take it
Listen,
then.
I wanted,
That's what
I
I'm
want,
thinking. So,
Joe and
Ian,
I,
you're on my brain. Yeah.
I was just going to
Yeah,
say, Joe and I wanted equity in Spotify. Okay. And it wasn't even up on the table when we went in there. They wouldn't even entertain it. We wanted it. We knew they were a pre IPO company when we first did our podcast the other day. They laughed us out of the room. Okay. Knowing what I know now, I would have put my foot down harder and maybe stepped back before I cut a deal because I know we should have owned a big piece of Spotify
yep.
for the impact that we made for podcasting. Because what we did was we opened up a revenue stream for
For
Spotify
them
to
to
not
clean
have
money
to
from the
the
labels.
labels. Right.
Yeah.
There
Absolutely.
you go.
Yep.
And so they
And
didn't
we
have to
didn't know
share.
that play.
And we didn't
All
know
right,
at that
fuck it. I
time.
want to ask a hard question. Do y'all think it's kind of entitled for? Okay, this might be the wrong room to ask this question, but I'm gonna ask. Fuck it. I'm a G. Do y'all think it's kind of entitled for like talent to partner with a platform and feel like they deserve ownership because they're successful? Like, for example, let's say the Joe Budden Network starts a new show and the show is
Yeah.
wildly successful. Do you think the
Yeah.
people from that have the right to turn around and say, "Hey, I need some ownership in the Joe
If
Budden
you ask
network
for
because
it
look
from the
at how
beginning,
If they ask for it and if they're
you
in a
can't ask for it
position,
7 years after. After it blows up and now it's the biggest show
I'm
in
sorry, other
Ghana
end.
and
I'm so
NFL.
sorry, other end. I'm not familiar with who you are. I want to. answer from the Joe Budden Network, and I know it sound mean, so please don't blame me. Give me a little
No harm.
grace. Thank
No
you.
harm.
Ian, your question?
Wait, is wait 1 second, L. Is she sounding like a robot to just me?
Yes, you're breaking up a
Yeah,
lot.
I couldn't really understand the question, L, because you were breaking up.
Ian, did you understand my question?
I think I heard a part of it. You're
All right,
saying
go
if
ahead.
someone helps build something from the beginning and they address it from the beginning and they take care of it, should they be entitled to ownership in it? My short
Sports.
answer is
Well,
sure, there
a
should be.
new show on the Joe Budden Network. Now that show
Hmm.
is successful, and now they want some ownership of the network.
Oh, afterwards, they should
Perfect.
not be entitled to it. Absolutely not. No. Now, does that mean you shouldn't give that to them? I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying, should they be
Or that they shouldn't
entitled?
ask.
Should they be entitled? Absolutely not. That word is used way too broadly,
Yep.
and no
That's
one's
why you gotta ask
entitled
for
to
it in the
nothing.
beginning.
There's no entitlement. Work for it, address it, and if it doesn't make sense to you before you start, then you walk away. But if it
Oh, good question.
does,
Yeah. How do you ask for that? How do you ask for equity in a entity that's already successful, but you do have a value add?
okay, you can, and what I want to add to that is you absolutely can circle the block after something has already started and approach that. And there's no guarantee that someone that's in the ownership position will give you what you're asking for. That being said, the way you could ask for it is by saying, "Look, I see the value I add to this company, this business, this infrastructure that I'm helping build. I want a piece of the pie in a much deeper, more meaningful partnership. What can I do to become an equity holder here and allow the owner of the company to tell you what you could or could not do, and then take it from there. And then
Hey,
you all,
Ian, the short answer is get lit enough.
And
yeah.
you don't burn bridges on
Mhm.
your way there.
Wait,
Big
what'd you say?
facts.
Yeah.
You
You
got
said
you got
Thank you,
you got to
Chuzi.
get lit enough. That's it. You got to get lit enough so when you walk in the office, they know what time it is and they know the talk is
well,
about to be had.
that's true. I agree
They
with
got to
that.
be able to see.
Great answer.
See.
Yep.
But Joe, I just want to. Can I say one thing? The one thing I want to say is being lit. It doesn't always get you equity. Being lit may get you compensated, but it doesn't mean you deserve equity.
Whoa, 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 whoa! I'm with you on the. I'm not. Nobody's entitled to nothing. He just said, "How do you go about uh, proposing that?"
You add enough.
And I'm
Right? Yeah,
saying,
you're right. If you add
get
enough
lit.
value, yes.
Get lit. You're not trying to convince nobody of nothing. You emailed Spotify in 2015. They ain't no.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So I want to ask you, Ian, and Joe, or the other Ian as well. Do y'all think that if we just think about it holistically, this was a smart strategic move for Drake, or do we think it was just the best move he had?
I'm gonna say this and then leave. I think no matter what he did, it wasn't going to look smart because it's so against people's construct of what is right and what is wrong in our culture. However, do I think it looks like the appropriate time to do this? No, but the answer to that is there's never an appropriate time. When it's right for you, it's right for you. So he may look crazy to everyone else right now, but in the future, you may look at this moment and go, fuck, thank God he did this because it helped everyone. And so let's see what happens. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but if you never try, you never know. And that's the end of it. I love you guys. Have a great Thanksgiving. At 2 o'clock, we're starting Improper Improv, Joe Budden TV,
Hey,
YouTube. We love you guys.
Thanks, Ian. Have a great
happy Thanksgiving,
day.
brother.
Happy Turkey
Have a good show,
Day.
Ian. Don't try to siphon fans from over here to go watch your shit.
I was trying to, buddy. It's to your
Yeah,
channel.
nah.
I still love
Hey,
you.
have
Okay.
fun. Eat,
Okay.
eat. Go eat the pie. Have fun.
It's your channel. Okay, love you.
I'll
Bye.
I'll be watching. I'll be watching. I got two
Okay.
phones.
And L, I love you. I'm sorry we got a little head buddy in there, but it was good.
Thank you. No problem, Ian.
No, she does that with white people. It's fine.
Oh my
That,
Okay,
God.
awesome.
hello.
Okay. Bye,
If you
guys.
know L, then you know that she does that with white people. It's okay. L is a 5%. I mean, I'm spilling tea. All right,
That's fucked up.
each of you. And that was a really good question to ask. And hey, how do somebody even go about asking that? And before you get there, you gotta like listen. Now that you go, you have the nuts to ask. Niggas don't have the nuts to ask. That's why I keep driving home the point about these check chasers. You chasing the check, they gonna put the little money in your face. Your brain not even gonna think of the other shit you could ask. So no, you got to be brave enough to go in there, stand on your shit, and say,
Uh-huh.
"I want in on that," or I'm out.
Mhm.